Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Now, here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand, sometimes even I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you can only make your comments or ask questions during a live stream. So like I said, I do this every Monday and every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. That's a like. And when you subscribe, hopefully you will subscribe, but when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all so that whenever myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified, okay? Please also consider hitting that join button by joining Stunthangar Video YouTube's memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. Now, you can also support us using the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, to make donations. You can also use, and by the way, that super chat feature is only available during a live stream. So like I said, again, come on in during the live stream portion, make a donation. And if it's more convenient to watch it another time, fantastic, okay? Now, your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And when you are a member, you'll have special badges that Sparky and I can see in the YouTube chat box, and you get unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. This is Sparky's YouTube channel, and I am in here only twice a week. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel at Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And place a comment or question in the 2019 AMA National Championship video that Sparky shot of me flying his beautiful Junar XL. And if you do that, I'll be notified and be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children and grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to now post a link at Stunthangar Forum so you can come into the space where I'm at. I'm also going to go to the YouTube channel, and I need to do some things there. So let me get to the link here. And I have two monitors, so I'm turning my attention to a different monitor. All right, the link has been posted. So if you are a member of Stunthangar Forum and logged in, you should be able to see the At the Bench, and come on in there and choose today's date. All right. Now let me go to what I call the control panel of Sparky's YouTube channel. And I'll be able to see what's going on there. Hopefully it's streaming all right. Just bear with me. It's just kind of one of the things I have to do. I don't know another way to do this other than during the live stream. And I have to edit it also. So I see Jack Snavely says, hello all. Thank you, Jack, for coming in. And Gary Sinclair, he said, hi, Jack. And let's see, let me edit this here. Just bear with me just a second here. Okay, that's done. Okay, I'll save that. All right, fantastic. So right now we have 6 concurrent viewers and we have 4 likes. So if you have not hit the like button, please do that. And if you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like button. That helps the analytics of the show. And if you notice, if you're watching us on YouTube, there's a join button. And please consider joining Sparky's YouTube channel memberships. It helps the analytics as well. All those things help. Here comes Gary Sinclair. While Gary's coming in, I did go flying today. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. I live in Escondido, California. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful stunt weather. And I think I did about 8 flights. These are all short 1 minute and 20-second flights, but there are about 8 of them I did. Went through 3 batteries. Didn't do any stunt patterns, mostly loops, figure eights, did overhead. The plane is still turning, I like to say quicker outside, but it's much more responsive when I hit the down level, down on the handle. So I'm still working that out. I'm probably going to add some more up incidents into the motor. This is a pusher prop. So I mistakenly had first started with down incidents, mostly loops, figure eights, did overhead. Hey, Robert, plane is still turning, I like to say quicker outside, but I'll get the chance to hear that again. And thank you, Robert, for closing that window, that extra tab, most likely, right?
Yeah, I just had to shut off the audio to my YouTube. I use it as a big screen monitor with delayed action.
Oh, very cool. All right. Yeah,
There's about
unfortunately,
a 10-second delay, so it's a bit awkward.
So anyways, what you been up to?
Well, there's been the work thing and stuff around the house, but I actually spent the day in the shop working on models.
That's a great day. Isn't that a great day?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see there. I did a couple more RST stunters.
Make you big. Okay. Ooh, looks nice.
So I did them with monocoat and solar film. One I've still got to put the stab on and build the control system, but this one I think is, except for mounts for the tank, it's ready to go.
Oh, fantastic.
Got a Super Tiger 35 stunt on it.
Oh, very, very nice. Oh, that looks good.
I used one of my homemade bell cranks on it too, which has the bearing swivels off the lead outs.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's very nice. So you just
ball joint and
Delrin.
That's actually phenolic.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I inserted a couple of threaded inserts in there for the connection on the ball joint. And then I have just 440 bolts through the through an eyelet with a bushing for the pivot, and it's extremely smooth.
Oh, I bet. Hey, very nice, Robert. I mean, you really are quite a craftsman.
And then the push rod tube's kind of ugly because I'm just using up those really crappy Dave Brown ones.
Yeah, you might as well.
I have some of them. I'm just using them on these profiles that save the good carbon fiber ones for real airplanes.
Yeah, yeah, very good. You know, Robert,
yeah, the other one I'm building identically. This was sort of the development of those other 6 RSTs that I built. and I really wasn't happy with the center of gravity, how it worked out, and I had to have way too much nose weight. So these ones I built out of that built up 1/4-inch RC wood with the carbon fiber toe strips in it. And I extended the nose 1 1/4 inches, and the C of G with the super tagger and a muffler came out perfect.
Oh, great.
So
if
I
you can
think all my
engineer
other
it,
ones, I'm going
that's
to
the
cut the
best way to do
noses
it.
off them and modify them the same.
Very good, Robert. That's awesome. And Robert, I just absolutely love the I copied your how you did your SV11, and it's just so convenient to get access to the push rods, removing that canopy and that. So I just absolutely just love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have you taken the time to do the fillets yet on it and whatnot? Or
Not yet, not yet. There's some other things I want to do to the plane. I'm just those are all cosmetic, right? So I'll get to those, but yeah, I'd like to do that so it looks more finished and it would kind of hide the fact that it's removable.
I forget if it was John or Denny last week was saying how to do the fillets on it, and it's pretty much identical to what I did. So I guess
with the
great minds
caulking?
think alike, or fools seldom differ.
With the caulking?
Yeah, with the using the saran wrap type protector on the wing, and then just build them up with micro balloons and epoxy. That's what I did, and then I just sprayed them white to match.
I think Dennis had talked about someone using caulking.
Yeah, it might have been Dennis. I'm not sure. Somebody did though.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I never tried that. And with an electric plane, don't need to worry about fuel, so caulking might be something I might consider.
Yeah, it might be a quick alternative for you. And if you get a pure white caulking compound, it's probably will come out pretty close to the China coat that's on there.
Yeah. Let me say hi to Mark Lumen and Gary. I don't know if I said hi to you sufficiently. Hey, Gary, thanks for coming in, Gary.
Yeah, we're here.
And then a long time no talk, right? I was talking to Gary about 40 minutes ago. So how you doing, Mark?
Good, very good. Just been out for the holidays, and
Yeah.
Didn't log on the last couple times, but been out working with Dave Tribble on the Hellcat, so it's got a little bit of flying in, and
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but got kind of the first real solo cut. Well, not solo, but his watchful eye. Let's put it that way. Covering job on the with silk span on the Hellcat. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Next trip out, we'll probably put some color on it. And,
You're gonna find, Mark, that silk span is so forgiving. If you screw up, just cut out a chunk and feather edge the patch with ripping it and sticker.
See that thumb? That thumb probably found its way through at least twice. Yeah.
Yeah. A little hint that I found, rather than trying to just tear little pieces of silk span, is just take a saw and put your silk span on your cutting mat or whatever, and take a saw blade over it and just tear it, and that'll give you a nice serrated edge.
A nice rough edge. Yeah. I actually, Dave walked in his shop one afternoon and he looked on the floor and he goes, "It looks like there's been a rat in here." Because I was just picking and trying to tear it, picking little pieces.
Yeah, try a saw blade. That works fairly well.
That's a good. I got a couple of pictures if you guys want to see, just as a.
Let's see here if I can see it.
Hang on, I got to find them here. Let me see.
What kind of saw blade you talking about, Robert?
Just anything that seems like about the right pitch to work. How big of a tear do you want?
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'll usually just grab a Japanese saw, and I'll grab one and show you.
See if I can find.
Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Just having a swallow.
Hi, John. Got to get
How
up
you doing?
that sugar in you for Christmas, don't you?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Listen,
We need our Santa looking right.
that's right. Since Thanksgiving, I've had Thanksgiving dinner every night because all my neighbors brought it over to me. And
Oh,
I was
nice.
very thankful for it. Yeah.
That's great.
All of the sweets went the first 2 nights. They were gone.
I think along,
No more-
along with everybody else.
Yeah,
but-
this is one of those saws, Charles. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, you click on, you
it's
make
just
it
a
big.
Japanese pole saw. This is just a generic toolbox one I've got. But I find for most patch jobs that works okay. But really, as long as you got tears on it, it's going to meld in anyway. Just use anything you got.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can share this thing.
All right.
If I can get to the right place here. So.
Pretty narrow.
He works in a small space.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was that short.
Huh.
He's been with his father-in-law, I can tell.
Is it showing? I can't even
Yeah, I see it now.
We see a bit of it.
Okay, hang on a second. Let's see if I can do something that actually works. What the heck? Come on, Mark. Oh, duh.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
There we go.
This is a couple.
Hey, that's nice.
This is a couple of iterations ago. Last day with the grand boy. There's Doc.
Oh my goodness. I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah, he's getting around. Getting around a little slow, but he was out one day and just this has been maybe a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always a good guy.
Ooh, there we go.
Look at that.
That's looking just fine, Mark.
Yeah, like I say, the thumb went through right there. But it's like you said, if you just take your time and go slow and make the patch. This is just from newbie learning. Make the patch large enough where it's got some, something to grab a hold of.
Don't cut it with scissors, tear it.
Exactly. We were just talking about that,
And Mark, one of the cardinal rules, whenever you're moving your airplane around and gonna change its position on the workbench, look to make damn certain there isn't a CA bottle standing up and you set it down on, pokes out through top and bottom.
That'll poke
Yes.
something right through.
I've heard about that.
It's
You heard
terrible
it?
to sit for 2 or 3 hours with, unable to move.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think Wendy did that, didn't he?
What's that, John?
I think Wendy did that, didn't he? Glued himself to the bench or to the seat.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that one.
I don't know. I don't know if it was Wendy. It's one of those guys. I remember seeing a video of when they were teasing him about cutting him loose.
That'd do it.
Now, Al Raby used to do some funny stuff on his make-do workbench.
I think that,
I remember watching the video the one day when he's cutting towards himself, and I says, "Oh," I just cringed and says, "Oh God, no, Al." And the next scene
that was
was the next day with them all bandaged up, saying, "Hey, the old man was that stupid."
I think that was on
You
one
know
of
what
his.
not to do now.
That was on one of
Hey,
his
Howard.
Bearcat videos. I think I saw
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the carbon veils it's just kind of a big learning process. That really, that flowed on pretty good. Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. And I think, that's the stage it's in now, pretty much. There was a couple more coats after that just to fill in some light stuff, but yeah.
Are you using butyrate dope or nitrate dope? What are you
Oh,
using?
butyrate. Yeah, for sure. I mean, from what I have learned, that's the, the most forgiving, I guess. I don't know. Seems like, yeah. I did learn how much that, because this is really my first doped airplane, I done the fuselage on the Banshee, but I was just amazed at how much it soaks up.
Yeah.
I mean, I covered the fuselage also with silk span,
Oh, very good.
Smart move.
but even that, it was a medium weight on the fuselage. And I was just, after I went through about 3 of these jars, I'm like, where is it going?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Here, let me hit the stop share here somewhere.
Just as a little aside there, Mark,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
what some recommend, and I've never done it this way, but it seems like it's a good idea, is to use like the laminating resin that you can get at the Zap's product.
I
You put that on first and then wipe it off, card it off,
right.
and sand it, and then put another coat, card it and sand it. And now you're ready to use dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think somebody mentioned that on here one night. Maybe it was Jim Smith. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned it somewhere,
Yeah.
but it saves a lot of that dope soaking into your wood.
Yeah.
And it-
Yeah.
And they believe it. Some people say it makes for a lighter paint job.
I'm sure it would. I mean, the less dope is the less weight, because we did use some filler, but it's I don't know. It's a technique, getting the right amount, sanding
Yeah.
off the right amount, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But,
Mark, on the fuselage though, with the sheeted surfaces, if you use Jap tissue, it's probably, make sure that the shiny side out, that's probably going to soak up a lot less dope too, though, and be lighter. And on the flat surfaces, Jap tissue, it isn't all that bad to work with. On an open cell structure like on a wing, yeah, it's so fragile to work with. But on flat surfaces, I used to use that on fuselages and tails and whatnot, and it was pretty easy to work with. It didn't
Right.
seem to take all that much dope.
right. Yeah. The phone's banging here, so I think.
All right. Hey, well, thanks for sharing, Mark.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
On the chat box, Jeff Riley says, "Evening, friends. How was the park today, Charles?" And it was awesome. Great weather.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, hi, Jeff. Oh,
I put up about 8 flights, Jeff, and 8 short, 1 minute and 20-second flights. So it's a good day. And then Tom Ramos says, "Light provided." Hey, Mike. Thanks for coming in, Mike. And then Mark Lumen, he said, "Got the like." Thank you, Mark. And he'll be right in the short, and you are here. And then Jeff Riley says, "Looks like he works in my dentist's office." I think he's referring to where your plane is being built.
Oh, that's Master Yoda's shop. So that's
So Howard, how are you doing, Howard?
Okay.
Good.
Look
And I
at
see Mike. Hello, Mike. Thanks for coming in, Mike. I know you're busy cleaning up. I understand. You'll be with us shortly. I know the drill.
Looks like Christmas there.
Yeah. What do you got there, John? What are you waving at?
Well, I got about a dozen 3-foot long pieces of wire to make clips out of. And I can't remember exactly what I paid for them, but they weren't very expensive.
What kind of clips are you making again?
Little clips for your handle,
Oh, the line clips.
line clips, yeah.
Oh, okay.
50,000 stainless.
Let's see what it says here. No, this is 32,000 music wire.
Oh,
Okay. Well, that'll work. I use like 3 different thicknesses depending upon the length of the clip I'm making.
But yeah, I think 50,000 stainless would be better.
I have
That's-
39,000.
that's
Yeah, I
Jim
know.
uses, I think.
I have 39,000s, 43,000s, and I think
That's a good idea. I can order some extra. Because I got a lifetime supply of 32,000s.
Yeah, you need that for hinge pins and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of uses for it.
It's a little thin for line clips for a big airplane, maybe.
Yeah.
it all depends upon the length of the clip, because the thinner wire is nice when you have a really short clip, like a clip that's only
Okay, all right,
3/4
that
inch.
works then. Yeah, all right.
You could open up the scissors if there's thin wire, but on the longer clips, I use heavier wire. Hey, Tryon, thanks for coming in. And Lynn Burrell, thank you for coming in, Lynn.
Hey,
I
guys.
got this. I got
Yeah.
this for mixing my fuel up.
All right.
Oh, cool.
And I figured because they really close up tight, I don't have to worry about any evaporation from it or anything like that. I got 5 or 6 big boxes on my front porch today.
All right.
Were they all yours?
They were all mine.
I thought you were Santa Claus.
That's right. Well,
Santa
yeah,
Claus is
Going
being
the other
treated.
direction.
Santa Claus came early.
they're
Well,
just
Santa
passing
Claus
through.
spent all day Saturday dealing with a bunch of little kids, and that was so much fun.
Good.
I bet.
I tell you,
That's
so
awesome.
much fun. Here we go. I
Hey,
wanted
Tom,
two
thanks
of
for
these,
coming in,
too.
Tom.
2 of these.
Oh,
Ooh,
cool. They're
Nice.
awesome.
Ooh, that's how you
Nice.
do it.
Scientist.
It's a
Wow.
glass beaker in, I believe it's in milliliters,
That is awesome.
and cups. You know,
Nice.
Ooh,
So-
nice.
I can put my oil in one,
Yeah, that's
Put my-
perfect.
fuel in the other, and go, you know,
Oh, yeah. Now we're
Exactly. Yeah.
talking. Now we're talking.
so yeah, I had a good day at the post office.
So you planning on that for fuel or meth?
Well, the fuel's made out of meth.
That bottle reminds me of a story.
All right.
I was at a contest one time, and this kid came up to me and said, "May I have a drink of your water?" He said, pointing to my fuel bottle. And I said, "You know, being
Give it a
polite has really paid off for you now, asking for permission to drink that water because." And after that, I labeled the fuel a little better.
Idea.
Yeah, they make bigger ones you can fill with water and ice, you know.
Yeah, well, if you take it to a contest, you might have it labeled. So
Yeah. Well, I got 2 of them because I've got a couple of diesel motors too. or engine.
nobody's going to drink that stuff.
Oh,
You're safe
no.
there.
It smells bad enough when you burn it. Imagine what it's like when you drink it.
Looky here, if I can find my
It's right in front of that thing. It's got a little light glowing out of it. Whoop.
where to go there. Oops.
Ah, you're
There we
right.
are.
Ooh, there we go.
Oh, look at those.
Yeah, I got some of those RC 4WD things.
What
Very
that little
nice.
package cost you?
I forget.
That's a good thing to do. Just forget how much it
2
costs.
different sizes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
best
all I
way.
have, folks. Sorry to interrupt.
More than $1.398.
Probably about $23, eh, Howard?
I don't remember.
Cost me 33, so
That's
see
his
about
story.
that.
He's sticking to it.
Doesn't matter what it costs, it's how much fun you have with it.
That's
Yep.
right. You know,
We'll find out.
life is a fun by the dollar.
That's
As
right.
Bob Hunt says, there's only one hobby, spending money.
Yeah.
There you
Hey,
go.
Len, tilt your camera down. We're just getting the top half of your head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because I'm leaning back in the chair again. You don't want to see the rest anyway. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're growing a beard there, bud.
Oh, I've just been lazy today. That's all. I was off work today, and I never got near the razor. I threatened it a couple of times, but I didn't do it.
I think maybe he was looking for part-time seasonal work.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes you have to stop threatening.
Just do it.
Charles, I have a question for Howard, and I want to share my screen. Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, does that show up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was talking to John Paris this week, and he wanted to know how to use the TUT HR standalone. And at first I suggested using a servo extension wire and just cutting the red wire and putting a switch in it. And then I got to thinking does that cause a problem with no ESC signal when you turn power on from the battery to the ESC? And so I'm wondering, is this the way you would do it, Howard, if you were doing it standalone?
I wouldn't use the switch. You don't need it. When you turn on the ESC, it'll send power to the TUT. That's the way mine works anyway.
Okay. So just eliminate the switch and servo extension and either use the arming plug or plug in the battery.
This way you
Start
got
it.
25% reduction in parts now.
Yeah.
Well, I sent him a wiring diagram, I think, of how I do it with the bycast. He has bycast, doesn't he? Didn't I send him that? I think so. Yeah. So he has a diagram.
Okay.
But
Right, well-
maybe another ESC is different. I don't know.
Would it not go active when you just plug the battery in without a switch? Just a question.
Yeah, it would start timing right away as soon as it gets
Right.
power.
So as soon as you plug the battery in without a
Well,
switch.
as soon as it got power. Now, in the case of my speed controller, it has a switch on it. You turn the switch on, then the power goes to the TUT.
Gotcha.
We've got a little switch in line there as is the arming plug. It won't get power until the arming plug.
Well, even after the arming plug, you plug that in, nothing happens until you flip the switch on the ESC. Then it starts,
Okay.
powers up the TUT and the Igor thing at the same time.
If you have an Igor timer, but if you have something else,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the timer going into the TUT or not having a timer at all. But the TUT will start when it gets power.
I see.
And in the case of my ESC, it doesn't get power till I flip the switch. I forgot how.
I was
others
gonna
work.
suggest maybe putting a switch in the main power line, but then you have to have a heavy enough switch to handle the full current of the motor, which
no, just a low
is a
current.
lot of weight.
Well, you could use the switch as you show it if the ESC output there on those little wires comes on as soon as you arm the thing. But I don't know if any of them work that way.
In that configuration, and I just don't know enough about the TUT and maybe that ESC. There's not a timer shown.
The TUT is a timer.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Tim's universal timer.
There you go.
Oh.
Or now Tom's universal.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Now I learned something too.
Yeah.
Whole name. We know the name now.
So, but according to this diagram here, Howard, correct me if I'm wrong. If your arming plug, okay, you get power from the battery going to the ESC. So if the arming plug is not connected, you have nothing, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and okay, yeah, okay. So and unless you connect the touch to the wire, you know, the servo wire kind of thing, right? I'm assuming it's just yeah, you connect to the servo wire at the ESC, the TUT is not running at all. Now, how do you start your plane? You just put the arming plug and the clock starts ticking?
No, I put in the arming plug and then I flip a switch.
You have a separate switch that goes from
Okay, so you have a separate switch on the TUT, power that
No,
comes from
that switch comes from the ESC, not shown in this picture.
It looks like it's showing in a picture here, doesn't it? Or am I
No,
wrong?
Well, that's Tom's.
That's another
This
one.
is my picture.
That's
so-
Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense. In any switch from the ESC. Just, I got it. That makes sense.
It doesn't go from the ESC to the TUT. The other switch doesn't. It just comes out of the ESC. There's a couple
Yeah,
wires.
when you power your ESC, you
Okay.
automatically get power to the TUT, right? Unless you have a
Right.
switch on that line
No.
that interrupts the power going from to the TUT. So you need a switch over there to start the timing process.
The timing process starts when you flip the switch on the ESC. And
Yeah.
Yes, John. Hi,
But like I
John.
said, like what if you have a Castle ESC? You don't have a switch on that, do you?
You got a button.
The
but-
Castle does.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a momentary contact thing, but I don't know whether it sends power to the
Mhm.
to the timer.
Mhm.
No, it should work the same. It doesn't send power to the timer until you push the button.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, same thing, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That should work.
In the case of my setup, I received the TUT finally from Tom, and it looked like it had been through the ringer, and I wanted to test it out. And Tom currently has my my Jetty box, so he suggested just setting it up onto the airplane or onto a motor and ESC combo, which I did. Of course, I took the propeller off the airplane and let it spool up. I noticed when I plugged the power into the ESC that the signal, went to the TUT and then initiated the timing sequence. So my question back to Tom was, if, because I'm using the Castle Creations ESC on this particular airplane, if I wanted to use the TUT as a standalone, where would I put the brake in the signal to the TUT in order to be able to have an external switch to turn it on to start the timing sequence?
this Castle, does it have a button?
No, it's just it's got the leads to the motor, the leads from the battery, and the plug that would go to the receiver normally.
Okay, this is unknown to me then.
Right. And I know that some ESCs won't arm until they have a signal in place. So even if you were to put, right, it looks similar to that. And mine happens to be the Ice Light 50.
Right. This is
But
the one smaller, the 35. Yeah.
Right. The concept's still going to be the same. The idea would be, though, in this case, to, if you plug the battery in, then the ESC is technically armed, but it's not going to do anything until it gets a signal. And then when you close that connection to the TUT, then it would get the signal, hopefully initialized, and then we'll move along. I was just wondering if that would be a viable answer to the question that I had.
Well, yeah, if there's no other means of initializing it, I could go out to my laboratory where I have a Castle and see if
Well,
I
I
can
can do the same thing as well. What I'll do is just, not plug into the TUT, power up the ESC, then plug into the TUT and see what happens.
Yeah, I use a switch like Tom said. Now wire up the dadgum bypass. Yeah, then you'll see lights coming and
Right. But going through that exercise with Tom to try and test it out, I was like, this is a standalone timer. How do you initialize it? And I know on the Jetty ESC that you got the switch in there, but not all the ESCs out there had that switch available.
Yeah.
So where would you put a switch in a normal condition? And then Tom and I went back and forth, and he suggested, the switch in the power line. I said, that's fine, but you can be putting in off a big switch to carry the 50 amps of current.
Oh, well, where he shows it in that diagram, I guess, if it sends power to the TUT when the battery's hooked up.
Right. Yeah. If you put it into the line going to the TUT, then yeah, you can get away with a lot smaller switch.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then I guess, well, I've got your ear, Howard. I sent you an email also. There was some discussion a week ago about the orientation of the TUT in the airplane. And there was a question, we know which way is forward, but the the popcorn or the components on the board, which way do they face?
They face toward the outside of the circle.
Outside of the circle, okay.
Yeah.
So the back side of the board would
Right.
face towards the pilot?
Yes,
Okay,
I think so.
you think so?
I better go check that too.
Okay. Well, if you think about it, look inside your airplane and confirm that. Otherwise, when I get ready to set up, I just need to know which way to point it.
Yeah,
If I've got the popcorn heading towards the outside, I'm okay.
let's see. If the airplane's upside down, I'm looking at it from the front. The tut's on the right. That's too many coordinate transformations for me to do to figure out.
Gotta use the right hand rule.
Yeah, you gotta use your right hand to do the right hand rule. I found that out one time.
Okay, components facing outboard. Okay, very good. I appreciate any
well,
feedback or
yeah,
all the feedback
I'll,
you gave us.
I'll go to my laboratory soon and report back this evening.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in, John. Appreciate it.
All right, I gotta go to bed now. Everybody take
Oh,
care.
you're going to bed. You won't be around.
Nighty night.
Well,
Thanks for loaning me the Jetty box.
Sure thing, Tom.
John.
Yep, bye now.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. And we have Phil. Phil's here. Phil Bailey's here. I see his iPad. But we don't see you, Phil. We saw you a moment ago, but you disappeared.
It's processing.
processing.
He's processing information from what just went on.
Now, Jeff Riley said, I'll be there after I get this paint mess cleaned up.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I know. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
And John Mill, I know that Jeff Riley has a question regarding the Cub.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be happening.
That means he must be building it. I'm anxious to see one of those up and flying. My airplane's a little heavy tonight.
Yeah, I see your
Yeah, saw that.
a Blue Angel there. Very nice.
Yeah. We had a discussion on the forums a week or so ago about best colors for flying in a background of trees.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of guys wanted to do red, white, and blue, which will show up. But it's my opinion, you can see here, blue is worthless in front of a bunch of trees. But see how that yellow shows up?
Yeah.
And you take a yellow airplane like the Pathfinder LE, and put that up there and let you see the difference. And frankly, I would use yellow most of the time.
Or just chop down all the trees.
I don't think Brodox would like that.
Oh, they would not be impressed at all.
Here's a yellow airplane in front of the same background, same place.
Yeah, that's okay unless the sun is behind the airplane.
Well,
And then,
anytime the sun's behind the airplane, it don't matter what color it is, they all turn gray.
Yeah, I can't see it very well.
Yeah. I was taught, I don't remember who taught it to me, probably Big Art. When you got to fly into the sun, close one eye. That way, when you open it, you got one eye, at least one eye that works, so you can see what's going on.
I'm not coordinated enough to do that.
Yeah, same here. You know, Bob Watley told me the same thing, and I tried doing that. I almost crashed my plane.
Yeah, nice idea. Great.
And that wasn't me. It was the Bob Whiteley, not the Bob Whitley.
Yeah, Bob Whiteley. RJ.
Well, I couldn't do it. Of course, I probably got more practice.
Hey, Len,
Yeah.
did you get that? You're on the control line committee for your zone, aren't you, for Mac?
Yeah, I am on that committee. Yes.
Yeah, did you get that survey a week or so ago about the regulations and all that crap for control line?
I didn't. I don't think I did. If I did, I don't remember. I don't pay any attention to Mac. I'm not a big fan of them right now.
Yeah, neither am I.
I'm so PO'd.
We've got to keep them from screwing us, though.
I'm so PO'd that I'm ready to walk. I'm so PO'd with it. I'm ready to walk away from the whole damn thing and not even compete. That's how PO'd I am.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm on
I'm
the
so
committee out
mad.
here. I'll forward that survey to you. As Paul and I went over. in
Not to
detail.
be mean or anything, but Mac is a joke.
Wow.
Yeah,
joke.
pretty much.
I'm sorry, but that's where I'm at. I'm just so done with it. I've paid my membership. I'm paid up for another year. Other than that, I could care less about Mac. They're not part of my world.
Yeah, it's
sounds
like
like
when
very
they
good.
torpedoed the AMA association with us.
It's
That
just
pissed me
so-
off to no end.
I mean,
And
I don't even have a
You guys
problem
south of
with
the
you.
border.
I
You
have no
guys south of the
problem
border.
with,
You heard about that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
have
man,
no
that's got
trouble.
us pissed off.
I have no trouble with giving the AMA a little bit of money. That's not a problem. I'm just PO'd with Mac. I'm just done with them.
Well,
Yeah,
what would
well,
happen
it's-
if you joined the AMA down here?
Well, I don't think I'd be covered to fly up here. That's all.
Oh, the
No, not
intro.
under this new game.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's not going to help me a bit. Unless I just join down there and only compete down there and just fly bandit up here.
For you guys that aren't aware of what's happened, about, I don't know, maybe what, 4 or 6 months
Yeah,
ago,
about 4 months ago. Yeah.
some idiot with Mac got some idea that with drones and everything else and RC flyers coming up, and they gave lies about Transport Canada's dictates on it for it. And they tried to say that anybody from our reciprocal countries, which is AMA and FAI, that your membership doesn't cover you up here and you have to be a member of MAC, which is bullshit, or was bullshit. But they made it that way that you have to buy a temporary membership. So the AMA and rightful retaliation has implemented the same thing on us going down there. So the reciprocal agreement we've had for like 50 years is
It's
thrown out
dead.
the window to one jerk.
Yeah, I think that agreement was negotiated by Richard Rush, wasn't it? You can look that up.
Okay.
Ben's boy.
Well, he's a hero then, but unfortunately, he's not running it now, and that was many years ago.
Yeah, it was many years ago.
Yeah, and it's a damn shame, is what it is. It's just another modern day cluster. You know what?
Well, somebody figured out they could make an extra buck, so.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and in the process, what did they accomplish? They accomplished to kill all the
Nothing.
competitions in Canada.
Yeah.
Because Americans will not go in Canada to the glider competition, whatever kind of competition over there. Now, the
Control
Canadians
control
come
line
here.
either. Yeah. It's
And
ridiculous.
Stupid is, stupid does, man.
Yeah, just,
And the thing that really is
I
BS,
was an idiot.
one of the central figures in model aviation in Canada, who is a retired Transport Canada inspector, said that checked into it. Transport Canada was never, ever involved or dictated this. This was entirely from MAC, and they're
Sure
lying
was.
about it.
So it's just a big mess.
well, I don't know.
But you guys are always welcome up here. And, if you have to pay the $30 or whatever the hell they're charging, maybe we can throw some money in the hat at the party and pay it for you.
Yeah, not a big deal.
I usually make it up by eating donuts there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Whatever way, but I'm just so PO'd with that whole thing. I'm like, you buggers.
Canada has always been so good on licensing. I'm a ham radio operator, and I used to drive through Canada coming down from Alaska. And at one time I had to apply for a provisional license from Canada. And I don't think it cost very much, but it allowed me to operate anywhere in Canada with my USA.
Exactly.
Well, now they went to one a little more restrictive than that, but now they're back. You can just operate in Canada with your license. You just have to have it with you.
It's awesome. Too bad we can't
Well,
get back
it's
to that
kinda
with
like-
airplanes.
On the other side of the coin with full-size aviation, I used to be able to go down with my Canadian licenses and fly an airplane, rent an airplane in US registered airplane, no problem, and fly it wherever the hell I wanted in the States. Now I have to have a US license, but a US pilot coming to Canada doesn't actually have to have a US license to fly a Canadian airplane.
Oh, really?
You mean a Canadian license to fly Canadian?
Or sorry, a Canadian license to fly a Canadian airplane. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I guess that's the other side of the coin. I don't know.
I mean, are Canadian planes have different dials and the horizon is upside
Well,
down,
the-
or what the hell?
Well,
is
actually-
the
Elevation's in metric.
Troy,
The heat of the
Troy,
engine's in
the
metric.
thing is, actually, it's not, John, but you're
I'm
joking.
teasing.
But Troy, Canadian is the aircraft specs are identical to the US.
I know.
So why does a Canadian pilot going down the States have to have a US license now to fly the same damn airplane?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
they
know
are-
how to fly it already. I mean, it's nothing different. I mean, it's just this
Well,
One
they,
of the
they'll
finest
probably
airplanes
make
I ever
everything
flew.
metric
because they
on
have
Canadian
kilograms
ones.
there instead of pounds, and I'm thinking Gimli glider right now.
Oh yeah, that was a complete CF.
With bells, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
What
just
was
I'm thinking that probably the only reason for which you probably do that is to bring awareness because hey, you're gonna buy kilograms of fuel, not gallons of fuel.
Actually,
So
Troy,
you-
Troy, you know what's great about that?
In order to know that,
Liters.
yet you have to be have a Canadian license. I mean, I don't get it. I mean,
You know
just-
what's even simpler? A liter is basically a US court.
Yeah.
So it's much simpler than when we were under actual imperial. And because that was much more complicated for fuel loads and weights. Whereas
It's not imperial gallons up there anymore.
a US gallon is 4 liters. Plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
You're not under imperial gallons anymore.
Haven't been for close to 50 years.
Yeah, I think this when they changed. it.
No, it hadn't been that long because I was up.
Oh
when I
yeah,
was up there.
I was in high school in the 1970s when we
It was
brought
in
in
the
that-
seventies, yeah.
It would have been
70s.
about
I was up
73,
there in the
74,
70s and it
somewhere
was
in there.
still imperial.
Okay, so you must have been here just before it changed.
Yeah, probably so.
I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause
that's
it
the
would have
only
been,
reason for which I think.
actually, I think the exact year was 75 when we went 100% changeover.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Except for
74, so
gas.
yeah, it's right around then. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Except
up there
for
in
gas.
74,
Gas changed
75,
in
one or the other.
79.
Yeah, it was 74, 75 when I was up there. Because
Yeah.
it's the year I got married, and it probably would have been. Yeah, that's probably right. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear it because that confused the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I ain't too bright. When I saw those prices, I said, "What the heck?" And then I saw it was imperial gallons. Okay,
I'll be back in a few
where do I
minutes,
find out-
guys.
All right, thank you,
All
Linda.
right.
Okay.
I had to ask what the heck is an imperial gallon, and we didn't have Siri back then. So, well,
I deal in
I
pounds
will.
of fuel.
All I remember driving through Canada was when my gas gauge says I'd done a quarter of a tank and I was way up north, I always found somebody, someplace that I went in and I filled it till it was at the top. Then I didn't have to worry
Yeah.
about it.
John, did you ever drive through Fort Nelson?
Yeah,
Okay, what years were you heading up there?
let's see, 69, about 72, 74, 75, 76, and 79, almost 80.
Okay, if you were going up there in 79, 80, did you ever gas up at the Chevron in Fort Nelson?
Most likely, if I needed gas, I gassed up.
Okay, that was my wife's parents' garage and she managed it.
Really?
Yeah,
It's a small dang world, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah. Well, I found what I think is a little known fact. See, Alaskans and Canadians, we all lived in the North Country. And we kind of had this bond between us. It didn't matter that I had Alaskan plates. If I had Washington plates on there, I might have been treated a little bit differently. Not much, but a little bit. But having Alaska plates on my car, I found they treated me really well. Yeah, I gave them dollars and they gave me change and extra, you know.
Yeah, I did that too, except once. I was just happened to be at the gas station one night and helping out a bit. And there's an American came through with his pickup truck and he had a Honda 750 on the back. It's in the winter. And I'm filling him up and looking at it and checking out his bike. And he says, arrogantly said, I bet you've never seen anything that big up here. And I said, not since I walked past my 750 Cowie and my Harley Electric Glide this morning. And remember, we're 300 miles up the Alaska Highway. We're like 900 miles from the U.S. border. He pulls out a $100 U.S. bill and says, I'll expect full exchange on that. And I said, well, last summer when I was down in the States, when our dollar was worth more, you guys actually charged me for using it. And I said, oh, tell you what, I'll give you $1 for $1 exchange. And then in front of his face, I pulled it out, pulled the $100 bill out, and I put 100 Canadian in the till. Screw you, you arrogant jerk.
Well, they come in from all countries, don't they?
Yeah, but there's always a way to get them.
Yeah, it never fails. Arrogance always gets in the end.
If he'd have been in Vancouver or something, I could understand it. But Fort Nelson?
Yeah, I mean, you're way up the road then. When did they finish paving the Alcan?
Actually, last time I drove up there was 12 years ago, and they hadn't completely finished paving it, but they'd taken out all the nice curbs and stuff and scenery. And it was wide and mostly paved, but you had the curving switchbacks that you could get up some speed on.
Yeah.
And you had the switchbacks to actually be able to jackknife a trailer on a long hill if you spun out.
Yeah.
Oh, those are all gone.
So you got nowhere to go but the ditch.
Yep, like Trutch Mount and all that stuff. It's gone.
Oh, geez.
Can you guys see this plane here?
I see it.
Yeah.
Looks
Well,
good.
good. I thought we'd get back to model aviation.
What are those
Sorry about
things
that, Charles.
holding the wing on, huh?
Those are rubber bands. A friend of mine, I asked him to build me a trainer. He had one already, and I loved it. So it's a foam wing, and it's a bass fuselage, which is a plank, and the wing is strapped on there with rubber bands. And
I hope you fly it with more than 2 on it, though.
You know what? I have, but when it crashes, the wing didn't come off, and so I broke the wing. So I this might have been just for the picture. So I might use 2 on each side. I don't remember, but this might have been just for the picture. I have some other pictures of it. Let me see if I can show you how it's when it's apart.
It's a cool little plane.
Yeah,
it's level flight.
What was that, Tryon?
That's just for level flight training. That's about it.
No,
it can maneuver. I mean, I make it pretty docile for beginners, but it can do loops and figure eights and
Hey, Charles, here's an idea. Instead of rubber bands, you can put some plastic screws. And if you size the screws just right, they will shear off.
Yeah, nylon screws will shear. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is how the guy did it. Let me bring up the other picture if I can. Let me see here. You know, I'm going to stop sharing. I'll bring up the other picture. So let me work on that. And
Hey, John,
Yeah.
how do you get your green screen?
Oh, you go up in the upper right-hand corner of your picture. Looking at there's 3 little dots. You hit those 3 little dots, and it comes up, and there's one that says choose your background. Now you have to put some pictures in there so you have one to choose. So once you get one to choose in there, you just hit that, go down there, pick the one you want to have behind you, and hit that, and then X out of the picture you got, and there you go.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
The LE looks good inverted.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a Pathfinder?
It is a Pathfinder.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
I like the way it makes your beard blow around, John.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
That's pretty slick.
that.
I like the way in that picture, it looks like the rudder is bigger than the canopy. In that other picture with it on the ground, it looks like it's one level all the way back, which it is not, looking at the plans.
Yeah, it's not one level all the way back, but it shows it from a different angle.
That's a
Actually,
tapered
it
wing,
looks
right?
like- looks like the outboard wing is folded going forward a little bit, which it isn't, but it kind of
Yeah.
looks like it. But that's all.
Hey, is Dan?
What?
I was going to ask, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Go ahead. I'll think of it in a minute.
That's all right.
I got a good memory, but it's real short.
Yeah, that picture was taken by, what's his name? He takes a lot of pictures. That was at
Yeah.
Brody. Always wears that funny little hat.
Yeah, I can see him. I'm trying to remember his name myself.
Yeah, but that was his picture. I thought he caught it really well. You know, I got one here. I always thought he caught real well. Let me show you this.
You talking about Gene Martin?
No,
No.
not he takes good pictures too, but not him.
Look at how he caught this one.
Yeah, he did a good job on that one. I like that.
Right at the top of the circle. Going
I'm
over
just
the
trying to
middle
figure out
picture.
where the heck your muffler is.
I don't have one. It's got a rear exhaust engine.
I just love the
Oh,
lines
okay.
of that plane.
I do
It
too.
is beautiful.
I do too. It's got
It is
nice
beautiful.
lines.
I want to. I
Nothing
dug
like an
my
I-beamer.
plans. It is. I
Yeah,
dug my plans to that thing. It's not a true I-beam though. It's a
it doesn't
rib
use,
slip over an I-beam.
doesn't use strip ribs. It uses ribs that slide onto the I-beam.
Yeah, but the outside of it still looks the same.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it looks
Oh, yeah.
like an I-beamer from
It's
the
beautiful.
outside.
It's kind of
Yeah,
built like
Gerke
Windy
had-
did a Spitfire, I guess, then, eh, John?
I don't know.
Because
It's
Windy
based
had a
on-
full spar on it with the I-beam idea.
Yeah, it's Gerke was the designer, and he designed the Novi series. And this is called the All American Eagle, but in reality, it's the Novi 5.
Yeah.
And the Novi
Yeah,
4 was the last one. It was called Novi, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
on that.
The 4 was it the 3 or the 4 that was full of
Three
it?
that had the elliptical wing.
Novi
That
or
thing
Novi?
is beautiful. Do what?
It's Novi,
What
not
train?
Novi.
Okay, Novi.
Oh, whatever.
Novi.
I mean, if you
Novi.
What part of the country
Americanize
I'm
the
from?
pronunciation, but Novi is an Italian.
If I was in Canada, it'd be Novi, eh?
Well, I tell you this. I can tell you this.
Only
much,
in
and it's-
central
it's-
Canada.
Yeah.
I can tell you this much, and it's real. Chevrolet in 1968 sent a bunch of cars to Spain, and the name of them was the Nova, Nova.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't sell, and they didn't sell, and they didn't sell, and they couldn't figure out why. So they finally sent an engineer to Spain to find out why the Nova does not sell. And without going through 10 minutes of telling you how it went, they finally asked somebody why they wouldn't buy that car. It says, well, don't you know? Nova means does not go.
No go.
We want a car that runs. That car, the very name of it says does not go. And they didn't thought about what the word meant in Spanish. So they rebadged them all. And I cannot think right now what it is, but as soon as I do, I'll tell you. But they rebadged them all as another name, something like Sunfire or something. I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me, but I can't remember right now. But anyway, words mean different things in different languages. You have to think about that if you're going to sell something internationally.
You notice, Phil, looking at that airplane, if you look at that tailplane, you can actually almost tell that that's got anhydro in it from that view.
Almost. If you know,
Almost.
you can see it, but otherwise you never would.
Right.
But that's the prettiest of the Gerke airplanes.
I think so.
I love the 3, but that Eagle, when I saw the Eagle first time, I just kind of gave up on the rest of them. I said, that's the one I want to build.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's you build it just like an I-beamer. You build a fuselage, get it to a certain point, and then you pin or tack it down on the table and lay out the spar. All that. It's just like an I-beamer.
I think something that looks so right about a lot of planes from that era was the high aspect ratio wings and tails.
Yeah. Thing is,
Just,
though,
just give that sleek lighter look.
yeah,
You too.
I think though, in reality, the lower aspect ratio stab and elevator is probably the better deal for stun. I know, correct me on this, Howard, if I'm wrong, but I believe the Impact has got a low aspect ratio stab and elevator. And I know that the Fancher's planes and what's his name, our national champion Dave Fitzgerald. What did he call his plane? It's a takeoff.
Thunder Gazer.
Thunder Gazer. Yeah. they all have 24 to 26% stab and elevators.
That's a beautiful airplane, but it's at the size it is, I just can't believe it would pull like a Mack truck.
The Impact?
Well, I know the Impact does with a 51, it pulls hard, but no, the Thunder Gazer. I was going to put it. I bought a 75, and then I bought a Thunder Gazer to put it in. And the only reason I haven't already built it is just I don't believe I could fly it. I have a SV11 with a 60 in it, and it pulls so hard. I'm good for about 4 flights, and then it's time to put that in the trailer. I'm done for the day.
I would suggest
it pulls too hard.
I would suggest you build that Pathfinder LE. That is a very gentle flying airplane.
Well, that plan is in the stack to be built.
Good, because that plane does not pull your arm out. It goes where you put it. Gordon, when that got designed, Gordon wanted a plane that didn't pull his arm off. He was having troubles like you. And he'd been flying that twin, the Gemini, with 235s in it, and Fancher flew it and was halfway through the flight was complaining that his arm hurt, because it pulled. Gordon said, I don't want any planes that pull hard anymore. I want to be able to finesse the airplane through the maneuvers, not drive a Mack truck through it.
But if that's the end goal, I mean, you can take a 70-ounce plane and make it pull pretty light on the lines by just adjusting the lead outs a little bit and
You're right.
take out some line tension out of it. So that's any plane you can make it like that.
Exactly.
Well,
you need enough line tension to control the damn thing, not to pull your arm out of the socket.
Absolutely right.
That's the way I'm trimming the SV11, but it's you have to do it a few flights at a time, and I'm not quite there yet. But the thing that got me was Revolution is a big airplane, and it never hurt me. I flew it 2 or 3 times one day, and it never hurt me. So it's just. I just equated my 60 size hurts me. So what's a 75 going to do? And I would rather just sell it to somebody else and let them enjoy it, building it and flying it, than build it and be disappointed. When I'm going electric anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You don't need to hurt yourself. That's what it is.
No,
bigger motor doesn't mean it pulls harder. But bigger motor doesn't mean it pulls harder. That means means because the motor is more friendly.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, the motor's more friendly, but I'd rather switch to electric and be done with it. It's I don't want to fool with $60, $70 propellers, and I mean it's just gotten stupid. The prices have just gone outrageous. Yeah. It was bad enough when the props were $30 when I started buying into all this stuff. But now that they've gone to 60 and 70 by the time you pay the shipping and all on, no.
Yeah. Well, I know
I'm just not going to do it.
They are hard to come by too, right? Who's making props for those big gases anymore?
What's that?
I don't think there is
props for the big
Brian Ether still does.
Brian
Ether.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, you can still get props.
Brian Ether still does, and you can still get them through Randy occasionally. But yeah, I know.
It's very noticeable at the Las Vegas meet that the guys flying electric had a much easier time up on the line, going everything.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, when the last contest that I went to, what convinced me to do it, I had met Tran and seen him fly Revolution twice and seen how easy that plane worked. and I went to a contest, and there was a fellow there that was flying the same airplane in two classes, classic and warbird. And he'd throw a battery in this thing, go to the line, push the button, go grab the handle, go fly. He never had a underrun. He never had an overrun. He never had a motor that was running erratic or any of that crap. It just did the same thing every flight. And he won both classes with that plane. And when Will landed the last time, he flew one class in front of me and another class on the other circle. And the last time he landed, I walked up to him and said, "Okay, you convinced me now. Let's get serious. And I'll have to build one of these darn things."
Tell me what
That was, yeah. How do I make this work? And Will is Will will help any way he can. He's a great guy.
Is that
And
Will
he
tomorrow?
helped me out. And then
That Will tomorrow?
No, Will Davis.
Okay.
William Davis. He told me a lot. Then I called Tran, and Tran showed me a lot, told me a lot. And between the two of them, they about convinced me. And I talked to Denny, and he helped me get my Nobler running because it was just all kinds of. It wasn't spinning up fast enough. It would get in the air, but it was just barely hanging. It was running. It was flying so slow that when it went to land, you better be 4 inches off the ground because it ain't. It's not. It needed more speed just to land. I mean, it was pitiful. So we figured out what was wrong. I put a new ESC in it, and it flew great.
Oh, good.
I don't know what happened there. The last flight, it just wouldn't pull out. I don't know what happened. And I had plenty of room. It just wouldn't pull up. Is Denny in here tonight?
How was the
Not yet.
revolution in the landing?
Yeah.
But welcome,
Not yet.
Daryl Hawkins. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, Phil,
Do
how
what?
was the revolutions on landing?
Oh gosh. The Revolution is the first plane I've ever flown. When the thing quits, you got about a lap before you got to worry about where the ground is. That thing just doesn't want to come down. And it's easy to land. You hear the tires turning, and that's when you know the thing finally touched down. It's weird. That's a great plane. We got to get together and fly that thing because I'm serious. I'm not flying until you're there with me. But it's Steve helped me get it all set up. It should be right, and I do not have the accelerometer turned on, and I don't have something else turned on. But everything else should be hooked up right. And the one thing I can tell you, I turned it on here on the table one time. It blew everything off the end of the table over there. That big 12-inch prop, boy, I'm telling you what. That son of a gun, it's got some thrust. That big joker is a powerful motor. But anyway, I won't be trying to hold the full thing in my hands anymore. I just had the nose section up so that I figured I'd get to it and turn it off. Next time it'd be hooked to the plane. That thing about pulled out of my hands. But I don't know. The electric guys just never have a problem. They go up there and push the button, and it starts on time. And at 5.5 minutes, it quits and comes down and lands. And the IC guys are still over here trying to get the darn thing started. I said, I love the sound of the IC motors, and I will always have an old timer, and I'll always have a classic, and they'll have ICs on them. But man, these for the modern classes, these electric motors are that's just the way to go.
Come on, Phil.
I'll tell you.
You can't say
have
that.
both.
I
I still have both. Hey, I still have 4 strokes. My Bearcat BBQB is a 72 Sato 4-stroke. I still have Tiger 60s. I still have tune pipe motors. I've still got them all. But when you go to a contest, it's just the IC guys are just, unless they've got their act together, they're just at a distinct disadvantage. Now there are guys that go to the contest with IC motors that have their act together so well that there's no reason. Fitzgerald, he'd be crazy to change. He's got his act together so well. He goes out there and he one flip starts that blame thing every time. I have never seen Fitzgerald in all the years I've seen him flip a motor in contest more than one time on a contest circle to make it run. I've never seen him have a lean run.
I think there's
I've
plenty
never
of more people than Dave Fitzgerald that can
Well,
get
I'm just
one
saying.
starts on IC motor.
Well, I-
Look at Bruce
well, I get
Perry
one.
with two of them.
You're lumping it. You're saying you go to a contest and IC guys have all kinds of trouble and electric guys just push a button. Man, PAs are freaking flawless and they work.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I've got PAs. No, they're not.
Well, then
But
you
you
ain't
can
doing
get
stuff
you can
right.
get you can get in a rhythm with them and get them one flip starts, because I get one flip starts. But I see plenty of people that don't. And I'm just saying it's
You know,
there's room
but
for all of them.
You know, a
There's
flip
only
start,
one up, man.
who cares
And-
about the flip start? Is how
I
the motor
rarely
runs.
see anyone in expert or advanced with a PA that can't get their motor started.
That's what we're talking about. Those are
I
the
have.
stuff together.
I have.
That's an anomaly, man. That's an anomaly.
Well, it's not every day, but it does happen.
Let's
Well,
double.
I'll tell you a
I
grand
can't hear you.
epiphany from a relatively new flyer,
What's that?
whether it's electric or it's IC or whatever. When you put your hands on a well-trimmed airplane, and I've recently
Yeah.
flew one of Dave's airplane, and I had the privilege of flying Tryon's airplane. What a difference. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's electric or it's IC or whatever, when it's trimmed correctly and you got a good motor on it and it's built correctly and stuff like that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's an amazing thing when you go, wait a minute, it just went where I put it, and it just.
Well, I tell you what,
I
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I remember just not too many years back, the last contest we had at Winston-Salem. We had Randy Smith there. We had Tom Dixon there. We had a lot of notables there. Bobby Hunt came down with his Crossfire that had the OPS 40 in it. A lot of great flyers. The guy that was flying the guy that won the contest was flying a Fox 35. So there's room for all of them, and any of them can be beat. But they're all good. It's whatever you get used to and you learn to make it work. So anybody can be beat.
That's key. That is key. Whatever you choose to go with, you better make sure that you know your equipment, you know it well, and you know how to make it work. Exactly. That's so absolutely important.
So
Yeah,
Phil,
this-
you want to see challenge on start? Look at Bruce Perry with his with twin engine IC. One or
Hey,
two flip
I went to
starts
the
every time.
Nationals.
Anybody can be beat.
I know what you
And kabing kaboom, I've never seen him have a bad start.
Well, I went to the Nationals one year, and Paul Walker was there with a B-17 with
Yep.
4 motors.
Yep.
He got started one flip every motor, one flip, and Howard knows because he was there too, and that just absolutely floored me. When I saw that thing fly, I just said, "How does anything that big turn that sharp?" Well, it has a lot to do with the guy on the handle. But that was the most amazing stunner I've ever seen.
First
I don't
flight
know how he
ever-
transported that thing.
First flight
Came
ever seen
apart.
him fly was at the Northwest Regionals. The first time he brought it out. And
Yeah.
he had a blanket. He spread that blanket out and got all the parts out and put it together there in the pit.
Yeah,
And when he flipped those, it was like bam, bam, bam.
that's
And
what he did at Nats.
all 4 of them were right from the beginning. And that plane, I remember that first flight, we had the combat guys over on one circle, and we had the scale guys on the circle adjacent to them, off to the, what would be the south, I think, and towards the south end of the area there. That was when they were flying that at the Eugene Airport, overflow parking lot. Anyway, when that thing got started up in that, there was nobody flying anything. They were all standing there
Yeah,
watching.
everybody stopped to watch. Yeah,
Everyone, and the combat guys are saying, those are 15s, and the scale guys are saying, look at that thing. I can't believe it can do that. That was quite the show that he put on that
that
day.
was the darndest thing I'd ever seen. I thought there were 20s, but 15 sounds right. They were little, I
15s.
know that. But I mean, those things started one flip. And now he did have pressure regulators on them, but then it only has one fuel tank. It's in the Bombay. So I don't know how the thing worked, but I'm telling you what, it was one impressive airplane to watch fly. I understand he's converted it to electric. I'd love to see it fly now.
Bill, have you
Thing would be
seen
slick.
too much on YouTube?
I saw it.
I like
yes.
that too,
A couple of
especially when the gear
36s
went
in
up.
that. Yeah,
Especially when the gear went up. That was neat.
and that's
Yeah.
a sweet flying airplane.
I saw the.
I bet it is.
It
I saw
wears
the
them out. He
original
says
too
3
much.
flights in a day is enough.
Yep, 'cause
I
it
bet so.
pulls. It
I
pulls.
bet so.
Guys, let me just
I'll
catch
bet
up
so.
on the chat box for a minute, you guys. Hang on one second. I've ignored the chat a little bit, but Marcel Legrand, he says, evening, Charles and everyone. And then a new person.
Hey,
I don't
Marcel.
think I've seen this name before. This is Steve Minchella. And he says, good evening, brothers. Damn electric airplane. Anyway,
Say
that's what he
what?
said. The damn electric airplanes.
I could be taken either way.
Well, I like them
Right.
all, so I can't tell you.
So anyways, yeah, you know what? I didn't bring up anything to drink, so I'm going to pop out for a second. I'll be right back. I need to get me something to drink. My throat's dry. I'll be right back. Don't break
I'm gonna
anything while
share-
I'm
I'm
gone.
gonna share-
What, Scott?
I'm going to share a
Is
screen.
that tequila, Charles?
He's gone.
Hey, Howard.
Yeah.
I decided
take him
I've been talking to Howard a
All
little
right,
bit
I'll
about
get it.
some projects. You know.
Fusion
And,
360.
I went ahead and got that, and I emailed Howard about just some 3D. Just it's a project to get me started. Mainly just getting motivation to buy a 3D printer.
Oh, the Venturi thing, yeah.
Yeah. So that I just decided to go ahead and it's just a project, and I'm gonna
Cool.
that way,
What is that?
Tryon has a vinyl cutter for the region. I'll get a 3D printer for the region, so we'll be in pretty good shape. So, but yeah,
Cool
that?
deal.
it's kind of a fun thing to do, just to learn.
You got to taper that. You want, if you really want to impress people, taper that for where the air comes in, so it has a true Venturi coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working
You're
on
gonna print it.
I'm working on the top taper. I just the bottom is exactly matches the
The real one.
the real one. Yeah. And where this all come up was just having a different Venturi that's hard to find. Like they made 3 Venturis for these old
Yeah.
motors.
Yeah.
And, the 1, 2s, and 3s, the 1 seemed to be not very available. So I said, what the heck? I'll just make one. But
They
yeah.
were all stuffed in the box, and then they'd lose the box.
Yeah, but yeah, like I say, even it's just more of a project, a small project to get started in the 3D printing, because I don't know, seems like a fun thing.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
maybe some usable things.
Well, if you send me the file, I'll print it.
Okay, I'll finish it up. Like I say, I'm still I'll get a 3D printer of something, but
Okay.
once I finish the file, I'll send it just to give a comparison. But it seems fun. Yeah.
Well, if you print it, it'll look nice. If you get it back from Howard, it'll look like it's been polished.
I don't think so.
That's why I said we'd get a comparison.
Howard really,
Mark,
he's
it's
one of those
Mark.
guys.
It's when you print it, you have a resolution to the printer. You can add resolution, take away resolution from it.
Okay.
It's a matter of learning your printer how it likes it.
Sure.
The model is the model. I mean, the model doesn't change. It's how you
Right.
print it. What you print it with, what material are you using. I think all of that has something to do. And what I'd probably suggest is that go ahead and watch videos about your printer and learn
I hadn't got
about
it yet.
whatever you choose to buy.
Yeah.
And learn about them. Or even go on YouTube, type in 3D printer for novice or something like that, or tutorials.
There's some intermediate software that goes between the CAD and the printer. It's called a slicer.
Right.
Is that?
Well,
And,
I like. Go ahead.
Let's see, what's the one I use? Simplify 3D, but it hasn't been modified in several years, so probably others are better now.
Right. I'll choose a printer here before the end of the year and stuff like that, and just goof around, and find something. I don't need anything large, but
Hey, Denny.
it's just something else that like I say, could be useful and fun, or a disaster. But anyway, it's
Yeah, it's useful.
yeah, it'll be
I
fun.
tell you what, it's easy to make a disaster with some of the stuff.
That's how you learn. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny, let me ask you a question before I forget about it. You remember? It's not going to show. Yeah, maybe it is. You remember that?
Yeah. Sure do.
Typhoon.
I have about decided to build one of those darn things, and I was going to ask you one question. What do you think would happen? Would you think it would hurt it if you put a little bit of dihedral in the wing, make it look a little more scale-like?
I don't think it's going to hurt a thing. The only problem with is if you really want to be scale, that's a mid-wing flat center section and the dihedrals in the outer panels.
I thought it had some, but I couldn't remember where it was. But that's right, it does. Like most English planes,
Yeah,
it's flat and bows up. Okay,
yeah,
I couldn't remember for sure.
Yeah, so if you want it to be scale, that's how you do it. But if you just put a straight dihedral in it, it'd be a heck of a lot simpler to do. I don't think it would hurt a darn thing.
One thing
Yeah,
I
just
think
wanted to-
about when I see those designs of that style, right? You can see the motorets are high up and the whole fuselage is high up there. The tail is up there, the horizontal it's up there, and the wing is kind of low. So, so if you hang it by the lead outs, you will always expect it to go like that because all the weight is on one side mostly. So I think putting dihedral, it can only help because you're going to get your lead outs in the right position.
Get them higher up.
Yeah.
That's
So-
kind of what I was thinking because the wing's not thick enough to really stagger the lead outs up enough to get it where it needed to be.
Is it a low wing airplane or a mid wing airplane?
It's a low wing.
The
Right on
the
the bottom.
wing,
Okay.
yeah, the wing is 2 inches below the thrust line.
Yeah, so it's considerable.
I was 15 years old at the time. I didn't know any better. I didn't know that it couldn't fly. So I just
you won the Nats with it.
I won the
It flew pretty
Nats with
darn
it.
well.
I wasn't smart enough to know that it couldn't perform. So
Okay.
so Phil, the alternative would be to get a big old needle, stick it in your skull, suck out some of your brains, and then you won't know anything. Then you won't have to worry about it either.
I don't know too much as it is. I just have friends who do.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm asking you, Captain.
I did not too long ago. I built the profile version of it, the one that I can't think of it. The guy from Texas was put out kits and he made a profile of it. And of course I made it electric and I put the battery down as far as it would go. It was actually slightly below the center of the wing. And so the vertical CG was way better than the glow version was. It was still had issues, but that I think it flew better that way. So, but yeah, if you put 3/4 of an inch per side.
Yeah.
And unless you run into somebody who knows Hawker design, Hawker aircraft, what you're going to have to put up with is that everybody's going to call it a hurricane. All right.
Oh yeah.
They'll know that
I'm just tired of looking at it.
Yeah,
I'm
they'll
just
know
tired of
that
going
it
to
isn't a
contests.
Spitfire, but they'll call it a hurricane. So
Yeah. Out here, it seems like every time you go to a contest and you want to fly Warbird, you're up against P-51 Mustangs. Most of them don't look like a Mustang. That's what they are. P-40 Q-40s, which also looks like a Mustang. A few P-47s and Dave Hemstrock's PT-19s.
yeah, especially down in your neck of the woods. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the 4 airplanes you're fighting against. I was going to build a PT-19 because it's so bloody easy to build. Dave designed that thing. It's so easy you could throw it together in a week. Well, if you're a retired old buzzard, it can stay home all week. But anyway, it's just so easy to. No, but there's no spinner.
That's
the front is just the front's just you build a fuselage and you put a 1/4 inch piece on the front of it round the edges of it, put your propeller on there, and put one of those Harry Higley
Like prop
hubs on
nuts?
it, and you're done. He didn't even do that. Dave flew his with just a bolt on the front of it.
The nut.
So yeah,
Wow.
and it looked right. I mean, Dave flew it that way for years. That of all the planes that I have seen Dave Hemstroth fly, and he's flown a bunch of them. I've seen him fly a bunch. The one that I think was that Dave flew the best of all of them was the PT-19.
Mm-hmm.
He looked so natural with that airplane. It was so comfortable with it that it just, I think he could have beat anything he ever flew if he just stayed with the PT-19. And he has a Raby Mustang. So, and I love that airplane, but Dave Hemstroth flew that Mustang, and I had to sit down. I thought I was watching Al Raby fly. It really flew well, but I still say scoring, Dave would have scored better with his PT-19. That thing was amazing. And Will Davis has one of his PT-19s. He's converted to electric, and that's the plane he won Classic and Warbird with. And he won them. He didn't. Nobody fudged him. He was clearly the winner.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about the one Will Davis just did?
Yep.
All right.
He flies that thing well.
Well,
and that was a fuel-soaked old Dave Hemstroth airplane.
Yeah, and it's after the conversion, it's heavy. It's not like it would be if he had started brand new. So that's impressive that he's able to win contests with that. I saw it fly.
Well,
it looked good. Yeah, Will's a good flyer. But
he's an advanced flyer, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, it kind of.
I tell you.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say that if you built that, from scratch for electric and do all the right things, it would have been in the low 40s the way Dave's airplanes were and stuff like that. And it certainly would have performed a lot better. But
well, I'll let the cat out of the bag and tell you what I'm doing to mine. The fuselage and the wings, instead of being full ribs, are what Tom Morse would call, oh God, I forgot the name of it. It's strips.
Yeah, millennials. Yeah.
New Millennium wing. There you go. Thank you. It's a New Millennium wing with a 3-piece leading edge and a 3-piece trailing edge. It's the fuselage sides are 332nd, and the doublers in the front are 164th. I should have gone 132nd, but I think 64th is enough. They just don't vibrate. The electric motors just don't vibrate.
For electric, you'll be fine.
64th is fine, man.
Yeah, for electric.
Then the cockpits, the front cockpit, where everybody's telling me put your pilot down in the front cockpit. No, the pilot's in the back cockpit because the front cockpit is open to let all the heat out. Everybody says if I ever build an airplane, don't have a hole in the top of it to let the heat out. They won't see it. Well, this one don't have a hole in front of it, but the cockpit is where the heat comes out. And I think it's going to be a neat airplane.
Can you do that in classical planes? Change the original plans?
What are you changing?
I mean, is it legal?
The original plan, the front cockpit is sitting there. It's right behind the fuel tank section.
No, but I'm thinking about the wing construction. The original plans were not the Millennium.
Oh, no.
As long as it doesn't change the outside
dimensions.
Internal can be whatever, Brian.
As long as you do not change the outside dimensions. The inside, Tom Dixon's planes are foam wing. Old time and classic both foam wings.
Okay.
And
what the heck?
I don't know the rules.
Yeah. Jim Lynch.
The outside dimensions.
Jim Lynch won the Spirit of 64 award at the Nationals a couple of years ago with a Super Aries with a foam wing in it. All right. Jim's a wonderful builder, but a foam wing is about as far away from an I-beam as you could possibly get. So
yeah.
But you can't change the aerodynamics.
Right.
No. Jim is about as good a guy as you're going to meet too. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
And
wonderful builder, wonderful man. Yeah.
He is that. He challenged me
now
one
I
time.
may be the devil's advocate here right now. How in the world can they check the damn aerodynamics in a contest?
Well, let's see.
Does it have the same
so-
airfoil, the same
If the,
airfoil.
moments?
How
If
do you
you
check
need
it?
his measurement on the
Unless you
original,
have plans and templates with you as a judge.
Well, that's
I
True.
have the
Here's where
original
honesty
plans
comes in,
front and
Troyan.
make templates. How do you check it?
we
Well, I'll
have,
tell you this. I went to a contest, went to many contests, and kept getting beat by the same guy flying the same design I was flying with the same kind of motor. And I couldn't figure out how he was doing it. And then one day I went to pick, we ended up pitting right behind each other. And I just, for some reason, looked at my wingtip and I said, what the heck? And I put my wingtip up against his. He had at least 3 inches more wingtip than I had. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just more cord out there.
Okay.
I got looking at that and I thought, my goodness, no wonder his turn's better. He
You
got a
got
whole
more
lot
wing
more wing
area?
than I've got. Yeah, a lot more wing area.
Yeah.
that's changing the
But,
aerodynamics.
Well, you
Yeah,
know,
well, that's
that's,
changing everything.
that's
See,
one
Troy,
of
and
the,
this
No, it's
is
not
this
legal,
comes
but it
down
never
to
got
when it
caught.
all started way back when Nostalgia 30 and or well Super 70 and all that. And before that, it was all based on honesty.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And you were supposed to declare, yeah, it was all good and everything, and this is the way it was. And
Nobody's
But-
honest.
you know,
Very few.
if it's dishonest, that's up to the other competitors, I guess, to challenge it and say, prove that that your airplane is legit.
yeah.
But
Well, I
otherwise,
got
they
called.
take you at your word.
All right, you
There
guys,
was-
hang
You
on. You
cannot
guys,
prove that
let me
he's
interrupt.
wrong.
You guys, let me interrupt. I'm sorry. Mike Lonky's been waiting for a while. He has a question.
Go
Go ahead,
Mike.
Mike.
turn on your mic.
Mike,
Yeah, sorry. Just closed my garage door, so I didn't want it to be noisy. Actually, I have a proposal for Mel. So Mel, turn your mic on.
Okay.
I can't see my picture. Let me get back to my own screen so I can see. So I got these two VAs.
Make it bigger. Hang on, Mike. Hang on a second.
He's full screen.
I got these two VAs that I got from Don Cranfill, and they're heavy hitters, man. They're runners. They got good compression and they run like stink.
Yeah.
But do you remember me showing you these before? The heads for them are bigger, like they're bored out, and they have Nelson head clamps and a little button to put the Nelson in.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
So here's my proposal. I'll send them both to you, and if you can make me a head clamp and a head for one, you can keep the other one. How's that sound to you?
Well, why don't I look and see if I have those already? And if I do, I'll just send you a couple of those buttons and a head. Is that what you need?
Well, but they're not standard VA heads. That's the thing, man. Because I had about 4 more VAs that he sent me, and the heads don't fit these two particular engines. They're bigger.
So you need a head button made for that thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't I just send you the engines, see if it's something you can do, and if you can't, there's nobody else that can, that I know of. I don't know what we're gonna do with them, but it seems a shame because I ran them both. They ran just fine, but the problem was after having to change the plug a few times,
Yeah, they seize up.
they seize up, and then the head clamp ends up looking like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do that.
They turn to crap. But PM me your address and I'll send them to you, and let's see if we can work something out on the deal, man.
I thought we did that though in Messenger a while back, but I'll redo it. Send my address to you.
Yeah, send me your address. I don't think we got that far as like you saying send them to me. So
It could
But,
have been someone else. I don't know.
yeah, I think it might have been. The other VAs are already gone. They went to somebody else who was interested in half A combat. But I wanted to keep these because, like I said, when I had them running, they were screamers, man. They were runners, both of them. So they got good pistons in them.
They're really light, hard running, pushing engine. They're a lot of fun.
They do, and they run like stink. I can't use them on half A combat planes because they got that rear exhaust on them. So that's like no bueno for a foam wing airplane or anything else you're going to run sideways, because the exhaust is going to go right in the wing and melt them. But what I did have them on was an RC glider, a gentle lady glider that we were flying. I was running it on a bladder and just putting like a half ounce of fuel in there, and it was sending that thing up to like 900 feet in about 40 seconds.
All right, fun.
I'd like to have at least one of them runnable again, but like I said, I'd be willing to give you one if you can make me one that runs. So PM me your address, and then maybe we can get something going with these, you know?
Okay.
All right.
I've got a lot of lathe work I got to do, so that'll fit right in with it. That'll work.
I'll ship them to you, Mil.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I had, Charles.
All right, thank you, Mike.
So I wanted to say something on the changing, on the subject we were on about changing things internally versus externally. There's some years back, actually in the early VSCs, a couple of well-known pilots, I won't say their names, but they showed up, they decided to build an Olympic 4 and a, Trossel and to Dick Math's design.
Oh, Chisler, yeah. And they stretched the bodies out.
Yeah.
And they showed up there, and they didn't say they couldn't fly, they flew, but they kind of caught a lot of crap from people saying that they, and the planes never showed up again. They built new planes for the next year. That was obviously, though, you looked at it, you could tell that the dynamics and the aerodynamics had been messed with. They had a longer moment to moment or hinge to hinge distance. And there was probably a couple other things. The
airfoil was different.
Was it?
Yeah,
anyway,
it was the thicker, blunter wing, leading edge.
So that's kind of what happens. That's kind of what happens when you show up with one that is, been tinkered with. There's always somebody. There used to be a fellow there, and I think that guy knew the dimensions and that of every airplane that had ever been flown, model airplane. And his wife was one of the judges all the time. But anyway, he bring
exactly
an
who
airplane
you're
set
talking
up.
about.
Huh? You know who I'm talking about?
Know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, he would go over and look at that, and he'd say, "Oh, made it a little wider here and a little longer here." That guy was always there and around, and the word got out real quick when he was around that if you change anything. And I've said my two cents worth.
Hey guys,
From
I
what I
didn't get a chance
understand, the
to
only
finish.
leeway is landing gear. You
Yeah.
can modify the gear a bit.
Yeah.
I want to finish the trainer. I didn't get. I have the other slides up now.
Show us.
Good.
Oh, cool.
Share. So this is the fuselage.
Oh, look at that. It's solid basswood.
It's a solid basswood. It has a little bit of hardwood here too. And and then here's another picture of it. I think. I thought I had it set
I
up.
say another picture there, son.
Where's the other picture at? Oh, there it is.
There it is.
So there's one on the ground. You see the top view.
Yeah.
And that's an RSM tank. And then obviously it puts it together. And then on the underside is where this is another view of it. And then there's the bell crank. And there's a lead out guide on the end of the wingtip. So you bring the lines in through after you put it together. You bring the lines in through and you connect it.
Yeah, because you don't need
through those
lead outs.
clips.
That's good. Awesome.
And I'm telling you, this thing flies. It's so stable. It doesn't go anywhere. And it's a great trainer. I have two of these. And this one's my newest one. I don't let anyone fly it yet because it looks really pretty. The other one's been crashed like a half dozen times. And the other one still works well. It just looks a little bit tired. But anyway, that's it. And my friend had asked me to show this sometime. And so I'm doing that.
That's cool.
And it really is a good flying plane. All right,
Charles,
So do you do
that
a
is
training
very-
program for new pilots or something, Charles? Or
yeah, that's for
how much
new
interest
pilots
do
because
you
I have people roll up on me at the flying field, and I usually have it in my car or my truck, I should say, and I will tell them, "Hey, I have a plane. It's designed to take a licking and keep on ticking. You know, I can get you flying today," and they usually will back out of it. But there's a chance for them to fly usually when I have this plane with me.
Cool.
We have a plane out here
Very
called a Yuki 35 that the kits are built by a guy in Atlanta. I can't think of his name, but anyway, he travels all up and down the East Coast. But anyway, I have one of his little planes, and
Wasn't that Joe?
I thought that the tail says what?
Wasn't that Joe? Wasn't his first name Joe? Was
I
it
can't
Yuki?
remember.
Okay.
I can't remember Yuki 35, but Tom Looper built one and lost his old timer right before one of the contests. So he went and just flew the Yuki 35 in profile. And we got guys there flying Cardinals and all kinds of neat, really neat looking airplanes. And here's this little Yuki 35 with a 25 on the front of it. Tom won with that plane. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you take an airplane and practice with it, learn that plane, learn what it can do and learn to fly it, you can win.
Yeah.
Because half these guys will build a really nice airplane. And then if the wind's blowing too hard or if it looks like it's going to rain, they don't fly that plane. They don't practice it. Luke flies. If he goes out, he goes flying. And
Mike,
you know, that's the difference. That's how you win
Lotke at
contests is you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mike Lotke at the Nevada contest.
Yeah.
The plane he was supposed to fly was pulling too hard. It's an 80-ounce airplane, and his remember he just had work done on his shoulder. And so he was not going to fly until one of the guys there said, "Well, I've got a Teosaki. I'll bring it." So he brought the Teosaki. I don't know how many practice flights he made on it, but he won his class with that Teosaki.
With the TO, I'm not surprised. That's a great airplane. That is
there's
airplane.
good airplanes and great airplanes, and it goes in the second category.
I mean that. I tell you what, though, that this Ringmaster 576, not
Another
the D,
great airplane.
just the 576. That is a great airplane. I flew that
Most
thing the first
definitely.
time, and I thought, my goodness, it flies like a Teosaki. You can fly it down so deep into a wing over that you think you've already hit the ground and pull out at 4 feet. It's an amazing airplane, but you got to build it light to do it. Mine has a molded leading edge, and it's very light, and it looks like it's going to be a nice airplane, but it's not finished yet. So we'll see. I hope I have better luck finishing it than I did my standard Ringmaster, but I will not be using any more crystal clear. There won't be any more of that go through my shop. That stuff was a joke.
Just regular clear. Yeah.
Six coats of crystal clear on that airplane, and you can still see the grain in the tissue.
No good.
That's insane. That's insane. So I said, nah, we won't do that again. Now and I say that, and I mean it. It's true, but you got to remember that the plane is not, the color on it is not paint. It's A-line dye. So it's just clear is all you're looking at, but it just never filled in the grain on the tissue in the back. In the front where it's got red paint on it, that's filled. But where it's A-line dye, you can still see the weave in that material, and it's just never again. I won't spend $1 an ounce again for that dope. That's nuts. Whew. Danny, what are you're monocoating everything now, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. If I was as good a monocoater as you are, it's what I do. Because I'm learning to hate all this smell.
Well, and when I was away from control line for 25 years, and I was doing some RC, some sailplanes and everything. I was monocoating everything, and came back, and it was like I just can't get myself to bring out the paint again. That's all.
Well, I tell you what, after seeing the pictures of your Typhoon, you know how to do a finish. You may not like to do it, but you know how to do a finish.
My problem is that I got into, I just couldn't get I couldn't break my habits that it always ended up in heavy paint jobs, heavy, poor paint jobs. All right.
No, that
Where it's like,
Typhoon was not poor.
yeah, well, the paint
No.
jobs were, reasonably competent, but they were so heavy that I was down to like, maybe 1 or 2 coats of clear just to basically seal up the paint and absolutely nothing to work with,
Yeah.
And so that was that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I'm.
Wasn't that your Typhoon that your dad brought to VSC?
I've never been to VSC, so.
No, your dad brought 2 airplanes one year, 2
Oh,
scale
hell.
airplanes.
He might have
One of them I
brought.
thought was your Typhoon, and the other one was I don't know whose the other one was.
Was it a Spitfire?
One of them might have been. I've got the pictures. I'll have to bring them out and look at them. I'll try to look them up before Friday and see. But
the Spitfire
those planes were gorgeous.
Yeah, the Spitfire was built by Leroy Gunther.
That sounds right.
And that was the Tester's Best Finish Award winner when they used to award that at the Nats. And he won it in 70, 71, and 72. The Spitfire he used twice. He won it twice with the Spitfire, once with a Nobler, of all things.
Wow.
So I don't know that they even award that trophy at the Nats anymore. I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't think so.
Don't think so. But the other airplane looked like a Hawker Typhoon. I thought it was your Hawker. I don't know.
It probably was. We used to take those two together. Those 2 airplanes, when we were cleaning out Dad's basement, those 2 airplanes ended up at a Montessori school in Windsor, Canada, just over the river, just across the river.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically on display. But I thought that was a happy ending for both. So
yeah, beautiful airplanes, and your dad was sure proud of them.
The Typhoon was a pretty nice airplane. That was probably I built a Tempest later on. That was my absolute best effort. It was a complete dog. All right. So it never made it to a contest. But the Typhoon was nice. And I was really proud of that. So
sometimes you put the most effort in a plane, make it so beautiful and doesn't fly worth a shit.
Yeah,
because about like how.
Why is that?
And the flip side is also true.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they have planes that don't give a rat's ass about them, and they fly beautiful.
Yeah, it flies great. I can't figure it out. It's the ugliest thing I've built in 20 years, but it flies the best. Weird.
Less paint.
Well, I think part of it too is when you have a really pretty airplane, you're always afraid to fly it. You got an ugly ass airplane, you fly it like you fly it like a rented mule, right? And,
that's right.
Just thinking about that.
Yeah, you don't baby it, you just go out and fly the sucker. And you fly it in wind and rain and snow and everything else. So,
I find I do that with all of them when they get old enough.
I actually
showed up at the racetrack one year. I showed up at the racetrack one year, and a guy had a car. He said, "Philip, take this thing out and see what it'll do." So I took it out for 2 laps, and all I meant to do was warm the thing up. But it was such a dog. I brought it back to pits, and I told the guy in the pits, "Check the tires. I wonder if he's ever checked the tire pressure on this thing." So they pumped the tires up, and he walked over to me. He says, "Philip, if I wanted it driven like my mother drives, I'd have driven it myself. Drive it like you stole it." So I took it out and put 5 hot laps on the car, about went through a set of street tires, pulled in the pits and said, "Well, that's the best I can do on those tires." And he says, "My God, you would have qualified for the race." On street tires, I had to look at the time slips myself. The car will run, but drive it like you stole it. Boy, I did. I mean, I about hit the turn 4 wall twice. Got too close to that wall twice out of the 5 laps. But she would go. Anyway, Howard, what are you working on now? Did you ever finish your new Impact?
No.
Oh, shucks.
I might have to rebuild a wing.
Don't rebuild the wing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's great, Mark.
What happened?
Well, the dope shrank too much. I think I might have left it in the sun when it was 100 and some degrees in the shop when I went to the Nats.
Oops.
And
Oops.
yeah, I used real light sheeting on the leading edge, and it's all dented. And I'm going to try to fill it in with that blue stuff, but I don't have much hope for it.
No, that's
start over.
You'd be better off stripping it off and redoing it. That blue stuff gets heavy pretty quick. That's a shame. I hate when you get that starved dog look.
Well, yeah, it's enough that it would make it fly bad. So
Is that why you had all those questions about Superfill on Stunthangar a while back, Howard?
could be, yeah. Well, no, that was when I was doing the fillets. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
But I was successful at using Superfill the other day. I patched a wall, and there's some gaps around the wall board, and it was too much just for drywall mud. So I put Superfill in there, and
It's lightweight and colorful.
It worked fine.
Works good for that. You betcha.
Yeah.
I tell you,
Most
let me tell you a
expensive
trick.
drywall compound on the planet.
I mean that. I tell you a trick that I've learned, and you tell me if you've learned a better way. Please tell me, because I'd like to learn. I've got 2 planes I'm getting ready to do that are really nice airplanes. But what I've started doing, I get the airplane finished up to, I get my color coats on the airplane. Get the color coats on, and I'm ready to start spraying the clear. And then I put in my fillets. Then I'll go back, tape everything out, and I put a coat of primer over it, and then try to patch in whatever color it needs to be. The object is to get as little paint on those fillets as I can get. And I'm making the fillets just as small as I think I can get away with now. But you don't want any more paint on that fillet than you have to have, because where's the one place on your plane that gives you the most problems? Where boogers the most? The darn fillets will blister.
Every time.
Every stinking time. So the least paint you can put on there, the better. So that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting till I get the colors on the plane. It's all painted and it's all ready to go. Then everybody says, well, why do you want to go back and have to go back and mix paint again? I don't. I mix a quart of paint at a time, and I put it aside to save some to finish that airplane. But I finish the whole plane, and I go back, do the fillets, and then prime them with primer, 1 coat, and let that dry for a day or 2. I mean, everybody thinks, what, have you quit working on a plane or something? No, just making sure those fillets are dry. Then put your color on, let that dry for a day or 2. And everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I did the best set of fillets I ever did like this. And then go back and shoot the plane with clear, and it works. And if I have to put a bunch of clear on the plane, like shooting a stinking ultra clear, I think you might ought to try real hard to miss those fillets for most of it.
Yeah,
because on the
that's a good idea.
the Ringmaster, the one place I got a problem, I hit those fillets every time with that ultra clear, and they blistered on the bottom. They look like they're 4 times as big as they do on top.
Yeah, that's what happens. No paint in the fillets.
No, stay away from them fillets. Don't even, if you get 2 coats of clear over them fillets, you don't need any more than that. Stay the heck away from them. But the only place I got the only place on that airplane I'm really ashamed of, other than the construction marks where I put marks on top, I always put a mark on top of each one of my ribs. So when I build an airplane, I know if I drop a stack of ribs, which clumsy me is very capable of doing, I can get all the ribs on the right way again.
Like computer cards.
They show. Yeah, they show. That's what I ought to do. I learned that now, but I didn't know it then. Anyway, it shows. Anytime I didn't build the airplane with the idea of putting a clear finish on it. I built it thinking I was going to paint the whole thing, and I got talked into doing it. I got talked into doing it the way I did my Stunt Wagon 30. So I did my Stunt Wagon 30 paint job, but that's clear. So all these little dots and marks show, and it's awful. I'm ashamed of it, but anyway, it's a Ringmaster. It's not going to win a Concours award, so because they don't. I've never heard of one for a Ringmaster event. So
I'll put turbulators on the dots.
Nah, I'll show it Friday. I just put that epoxy stuff on the tail wheel to glue it on, to stick it to the wire. I got my tail wheel on there, and I cut a little groove, and I put wire in it, and I put JB Weld on it and it's not dry, or I'd bring it up here. That and the fact I just don't know if I can make it up and down those steps again today. We're trying to get Christmas up, and I'm telling you what,
Up
getting
and
tired of
down,
the steps.
up and down. Yep.
I'm getting tired of those steps. That was no problem. Funny thing, John, it was no problem when I was 30.
I know.
But at 66, they're getting a little old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
Anyway,
question. I want to ask Daryl. What's been going on with you, Daryl? You got to unmute your mic.
Yep, there, I got it. Oh, well, I've been starting my build on Twister.
All right.
And, yeah.
Oh, you're going to show us. All right. You're going to show us. I got to make you big. There we go.
Look at there.
Great.
Got the wing.
Oh, nice.
Got the wing. Control surface, still need to sheet the center section on the top.
Very nice. Are you going to consider shear webbing the trailing edge?
What was that?
Have you considered putting shear webs in the trailing edge?
Well, it's got flaps on.
Oh, I think you can still put shear webs in there.
I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah, it's a vertical grain piece of wood that goes in between the trailing edge, and it just stiffens
the bottom sheeting.
Keeps it from squashing between the ribs.
Yeah.
So you put vertical grain, and you just fill that triangle, and you just make it a complete triangle on the trailing edge. So it's just a vertical grain, it's called a shear web. You can also put the shear webs other places too. Between, if you have two spars, I don't remember how the Twister is built. You can put the shear web between the upper and lower spar, and just a vertical grain piece of wood. It just dramatically stiffens the wing up.
That's how I'll definitely put it. I think it's almost a must to push your webs on the wings between the two spars.
Yeah. There's another neat trick you can do with the wing if you want to have a distinctive look. And that is put a pair of half ribs in between each.
That's right.
Yeah.
Each bay.
On the leading edge. It looks nice, and it also cleans up the entering portion of the airfoil.
Well, it's a good thing I made copies of the wing spars, so that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look up the Ted Fancher plans too, they got that in it, all of that stuff. The extra ribs.
That's what I was going to ask, if that was a.
Okay, well, this is a SIG kit, so.
Yeah.
And you can get Ted Fancher plans from Hip Pocket.
Yeah.
Come here, Jack.
It's going to look cool and stuff like, yeah.
I did put these on the copier, so I've got a nice.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Because you can make some half ribs really easy.
So all you got to do is the top 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch off the spar, like from the width of the spar or a little more. Just bring it right down, and so you glue it at the top of the leading edge and onto the spar. You don't have to put the full half rib because that adds too much wood.
Yeah.
Just put the little. It just looks like a part of a strip.
It's like a little strip rib.
I'll show you. I'll draw it here.
One thing I'll probably recommend, that I'm not sure if you already planned for that, put an adjustable lead out guides in a plane.
And a tip weight box.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Hang on, Lynn. Hang on. Lynn, show it again, Lynn. Thank you.
Yeah, just like that.
Like that.
So your spar would be here.
And the 1/4 square up at the front.
Yeah,
raise it up a little
squares at the back.
Guys, I might have to
Go like
leave for a
that.
minute and go take my dog out.
Well,
Let
hang
me
on.
tell you one thing before I leave.
All
Also,
right, hang
think
on one
about-
second, Phil.
Okay.
All right. Is that clear,
That's a must.
Daryl?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, great.
One between each rib.
Okay.
That's a must. You really need that.
All right,
Another
go
thing
ahead.
to think about.
Top and
Yeah,
bottom
look,
side of the wing.
This is a nice picture of it. You see it?
That is
There
a
you
nicer
go.
picture. Yeah, you're a little bit better artist than Lynn and myself.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's excellent.
That works good.
Another thing to think about. You think serious about training suggestion with the line slider, but also think about putting a tip weight box in, because if you go to these new, if you decide
Yes.
like the rest of us to get away from the steel lines and go to these new braided lines,
Spectra,
you are
yes.
really going to want to take some weight out of that wing.
Mhm.
And you can't do it if you don't have a weight box. My Ringmaster has nothing adjustable. It's all, I mean, it's just right off the Ringmaster light plans. Everything's fixed. And there is no way that I can make an adjustment. And it does not want to fly with solid. It flies great with solid lines or braids, but braids are so light that I now know what Denny meant when he said, you'll have a new experience when you fly with something that's got way too much tip weight, because it does. I'll have to fly that one on metal lines.
Yeah.
I wish I'd put a weight box in it, but I didn't. Anyway, guys, I'll be back in about 10 minutes. I got to go take
All right,
the dog.
Phil.
out.
Take care,
Thank you,
Phil.
Phil.
I might be gone by then,
Take
so
your
I'll
time,
see you.
brother.
I'll see you.
All right, you take care of yourself, Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also got a few flights in on my old slow combat plane that I rescued from my
Cool.
parents' attic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And it's been crashed quite a few times.
Oh, that happens. Oh, that's cool.
Is that a mongoose or an apocalypse?
I have no idea. I built it back in mid-70s.
Looks like a mongoose.
They're very similar. Yeah, it's either a mongoose or an apocalypse.
Very nice. Very nice, Daryl.
There
I got a
are,
KMB 28 on the front of it.
Oh yeah.
That can be 28.
so, Daryl, about the twister, another thing I'll probably say is move the tail, the horizontal step back.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 inches.
Put it 2 inches in the fuselage.
Yeah, 2 inches
Okay,
further
add
back.
2 inches to the tail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as far back as you can. You might have to add a little piece in there. If you can add another half an inch to back of your fuselage to push it back even longer, further back would only help.
I put 2 diagonal cuts in the middle of the fuselage, then put a 2-inch piece in there on the diagonal cuts.
That's not.
Moved everything
yeah.
back 2 inches.
Okay, because I just
added it right to the back of the kit fuselage.
so
No, on the back of the fuselage.
Yeah, at the back.
Yeah, that's what I did on mine. And this is all from
nice.
the Daryl. There's a article by Ted Fancher called the Fancherized Twister. Or it was
Okay,
like
I've
over
seen-
2 articles, I think, 2 magazine articles, and he covers how he made these modifications called the Fancherized Twister. And it's in the
It really
forum, I
makes that
believe.
airplane
Okay,
stand
yeah.
up.
Hey, Charles, or that article, the best thing for him to do is go onto Hip Pocket Aeronautics website, join up if you have to or whatever. It's a Canadian site. And the Fancher Twister plans and the article are there for free PDF downloads.
Yep.
And you can go have them printed or whatever you want. That's what I did. So just go to Hip Pocket Aeronautics and grab the Ted Fancher Twister,
Oh, okay.
and that'll answer everything.
Thank you, Robert. That's a good suggestion. Hey, Steve, thanks for coming in.
Is Steve here?
Steve is
Hey.
here.
Steve is here.
Hey, Gary, wake up. Steve is here.
Steve's here.
He's in the house.
Steve's here.
Hey Charles,
Yes, Mike.
I know I've been over here texting like a madman because I've been listing some engines
All right.
on our
Good for you.
control line site, and I listed 3 Thunder Tiger 36s, and my phone's been blowing up. So I've been messaging these guys.
Wow. Oh, man, that's awesome.
How much you getting for them?
I finally got into the old engine box, and I'm digging this stuff out. I got a bunch of Foxes here that I'm sending to James Pitzel in Saskatchewan, Canada. I don't know if Robert knows him or not. Glenn, I don't think.
No, I don't know.
What city is he in?
I'll tell you in a second here. He is in, he's on the control line site on the Facebook page. So you guys may know, Dundurn.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's just out of Saskatchewan, out of Saskatoon.
Yeah, Saskatchewan. But I had I'd sold him something earlier in the year, and I said, listen, I got a box of Foxes, and he's one of these guys that likes to tinker with old stuff. And I wasn't going to try to eBay these or try to sell them individually. I was like, listen, I'm sending him like 6 Foxes with a couple of mufflers. And then I did.
Mike, give them my contact info. Tell them to give me a call.
I will. I
Or
just said,
email.
look, I'm going to mail you this stuff, and if you think it's worth, pay the shipping on it. If you think it's worth something, send me a couple of bucks. If not, then keep it for free. But anywho, Howard, was that you had asked on the Thunder Tiger 36s?
Yeah.
How much? I got a brand new one, never run. Jim Lee Venturi and Tiger Needle. It's already been converted, but no muffler, no box. $125 shipped. Just which I'm losing money on it because I think I paid 140 for it. And then I got one that's got about 10 flights on it. Same thing, Jim Lee Venturi, Tiger Needle, no muffler, no box. Because I kept the mufflers. I had tongue mufflers for them, and I'm keeping them for my Aero Tigers. I said 115 on that one, and then I've got one that's used again, $100 shipped, and they all went just bam, bam, bam like that.
Okay.
These aren't Aero Tigers. These are just Thunder Tiger 36.
I understand.
Yeah, I have a couple of Thunder Tigers myself.
Right, and the reason I'm getting rid of these is because I'm never going to use them. I got 3 Thunder. I've got 3 Aero Tigers.
Yeah, if you have 3 Aero Tigers, you're never going to use those Thunder Tigers.
I'm never going to use those Thunder Tigers. I'm trying to clear the house, man. I'm doing my side hustle and make a little.
Explain to our audience the difference between a Thunder Tiger and an Aero Tiger. Just for our audience who doesn't know, who might not know.
You want me to explain it?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't know. Randy.
Okay, well, what I know is that it's the same case.
It's the same case, but it's got a
piston are different. In the Aero Tiger.
It's got an AAC piston and liner in it, and then it has Randy's PA needle valve, and Randy custom makes a Venturi, and it's just it's badass. I think he changes the timing on them too, doesn't he?
I think he's got its own piston and cylinder in there.
Well, that's what I said. It's an AAC. Yeah, he chromes the piston. That's the holdup on him. That's why he can't make them because he can't get the Thunder anymore. He can't purchase the Thunder Tiger 36s brand new anymore because they stopped making them.
Okay, yeah, I might have some coming. So
go ahead, Howard.
I might have some of those things coming. So I'll talk to you about the people that you've rejected. People got there too late.
Oh wait, I guess I missed that. Are you wanting one, Howard?
No, I will probably get some.
I got you. Getting an Aero Tiger, you mean, or
Thunder Tiger?
Thunder Tiger. Oh, okay.
But
brand new.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after I.
All right, the after party.
Get them if I do.
You know what?
Okay. All right.
Just get ready to end the live stream. Anyways, we're right up against 9 o'clock, and we've had a really good show. I think we had 14 or 15 people in here on a Monday night. I'm really excited about that. This kind of eclipsed our most recent Fridays, the number of people we had in here tonight. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. That helps the analytics. And if you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like button and consider joining the YouTube memberships. Just hit the join button if you're watching it on YouTube. And don't forget to come on in sometime and donate through our super chat. That also helps. And by the way, the super chats and donations and everything's been low. So I know we're getting into the holidays, but please, if you can find it in your heart to support what we're doing, I would greatly appreciate it. So I just want to ask you to consider doing that. But we had a really good show, a lot of good conversations. And before we go, you want to say something, Bob?
Yeah, a little product review for anybody who's contemplating a Hanger 9 iron.
Okay.
Piece of crap bagged out on me after covering 6 airplanes.
Really? I have a good one.
Yeah.
I've got a good
I'm not
one.
happy at all.
Now yours is Hanger 9? Maybe mine. I'm thinking of the cover right. I have a cover right, not
Mine was the cover right Century.
Cover right's great.
Here we can't get them of any kind.
I've got two coverrights, one I use and one I just bought, and those things are still working great.
Here in Ontario, I can't even buy one of any kind.
Really?
I know, I
I-
can't either.
I
Actually,
had,
on
they're not
Amazon
made
you can.
anymore.
Those $150 ones you can get.
You know what? We got a lot of juice still, so let's end this live stream and we will continue this dialogue. Thank you very much for tuning in, and come back and join us Friday. Hopefully you get a chance to fly and do something in your shop and come back, and maybe you can share with us. You can share the screen, show us what you've been doing, or do a show and tell. Anything like that would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to end the stream.